3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of On the Lawn with FVR. Today we have Carolina. Thanks for coming.
A pleasure, my pleasure.
So, this is such a hot day right now that we begun to get more improvements, but I guess it's better to have light and not rain, isn't it?
Yes, definitely, yeah. It's hot, but it's good. We have this and it's good. I approve.
Excellent, excellent. People have been asking sometimes, like, how has been the journey of people from other places, from the Americas, and from Mexico. Can you tell us about your journey?
Yes, of course. Well, which journey? The flight or like all the journey?
In general.
Well, to be honest, I didn't even know where Malaysia was when I was admitted here. I really didn't know. I know it was far, but I didn't know it was this far, and it was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I think nobody in Mexico knows, or like 1% knows where is Malaysia.
I totally agree, because for some people it's like nice, but where is that? Or other people will be like, isn't that spelled the other way around? Even some other people will say, you mean the other place that is at the south of the islands, right? And it's like, no, it's not that place, it's the other way around. But I'm also happy that borders are getting open and there is a chance to even travel and visit other places. But more important is about the personal journey that usually people take to go from one place to another, or the motivation to do it. So your background has been usually on business, and also you have been included with a lot of data, right?
Data,
and
yes.
Technology. Tell us a little more about that.
Sure. My career started at ABINBEV. ABINBEV has a global leaders program. It was very nice. So my job for the first year was learning about beer, like everything about the beer. And the second year, I have to find like something. I had to find like an errand opportunity during my first year, and my second year, my job was to fix that problem. And well, we had no budget, so what else we have? We have data. So like there was the only choice to work with data analytics. That's how my career in data analytics started.
That's amazing. So you put data and beer to find solutions.
Yeah, that's exactly what was my job. We even did a hackathon, and the first prize was 1 year of beer.
Wow, 1 year of beer by winning a hackathon. Was any beer, or you selected one in particular?
No, it was hard because despite working in a beer company, it was hard to get the actual beer. So we get, I called the different brand managers, and they gave me like leftovers from different countries that were not exported, but it was good beer. So it was very hard. And actually, 1 year of beer means 365 beers. That's the trick.
Okay, because when you hear that, it will be like, it can be like from unlimited, or it can be just one per day. That's a good trick.
Yeah, that's the trick.
Wow. And the hackathon was about a program in particular. How did you design the hackathon? How did you call? Do you need the sponsors? When was that? Tell us about the hackathon.
But it was very fun. The hackathon was, my manager told me like, let's do a hackathon, just because we had nothing to do. And I was like, okay. And I started to look, it was like, we started to define dates, and actually I did it in 2 months. And we started to find like sponsors, like I had the help, to be honest, like I had a checklist of things I had to do, and I also had like a lot of support from all the team. So I relied on the contacts from Microsoft, the people who sell things to ABINBEV from Microsoft. I contacted them. I contacted Tableau. It was the same from all the hackathons, the previous one in other. I had their contacts, so I called them like, hey, come, sponsor. I called the government, and they gave me like a lot of props, merchandise. I called the brands, the internal brands, and they also gave me for the prizes because we had no budget for this. So everything was calling, hey, support, help.
Wow, that's very impressive. You hear people that will be watching this, they will hear, look at that, Tableau. I heard about that one because this is like a huge brand for product management. And to get the back of them, and also the government itself that also needs to put back to such initiative. What about the internal brands? Was any difficulty to call the internal brands and to say, okay, hey, can you help me in this? And it's like, if I help you, what I get back? Things like that.
Definitely, because I work in the back office, so the back office is never sexy. The shared service center is where everything happens, but nothing happens. You know, it's all the back office, all the day-to-day, so it's very boring. When I contacted like global directors, Corona, did no response, like radio silence. The only person that gave me response was Victoria, which is another local brand, but that's like the less sexy brand was the only one that helped me through.
Wow. So shout out to Victoria and all the help that she delivered. That's impressive. How long it took you to build all of this?
2 months.
Wow. And everything was done in one day, or it was like 2 days hackathon?
It was a 2-day hackathon. We planned for people to stay there, but at the end of the day, some people stayed there, but some other had a hotel or something like that, because at the end of the day, it was a corporate. It's like if we do something here, like there's going to be a lot of safety issues, and you have to deal with a lot of corporate things, and it was kind of hard.
I'm laughing because when you mentioned people who should stay there for the hackathon, I was involved in some hackathons in the past. I won even one of those, but I saw people that they prefer to not go to the hotel because they will be working the whole night, and they prefer to be on whatever it is the room, even to sleep on the floor, just to keep the things running. That's how hardcore you can be, and I have respect for that. Respect for the idea and also the mission that they have on purpose, and how energetic is the pitch when they're doing, even if they didn't even brush their teeth for almost 2-3 days. I don't know how many, but that's something you respect. And I believe that the coveted prize was very, very high and also difficult to achieve. Do you recall how was the first prize? How was the winner, the project?
Yes, I recall, because actually it was also like a matching thing, because a lot of people told like, I want to enter the hackathon, but I don't know anybody. And I was like, okay, you can come and we can match you. So we did like Cupid thing, but for teammates, because this was big. I went to all the schools in the city. I got a lot of relationships with everybody. So the people who won first place, actually they met there. Mm-hmm. And that was really nice. I remember their response was, their idea was really good, and they were both college students.
That's amazing. That's a wonderful story. And where are they now?
One got an internship at my company at ABI, and the other person, he was just doing it for the fun and for the certifications.
Yeah, it's also good to see what happened in perspective, because once you achieve that, then how it actually goes through the time. Talking about time, and I believe that there was the Carolina back then, which is different to the Carolina of today. What happened in between?
Oh, a lot of things. As I said in class, this job, actually the only good thing I did at this job was the hackathon. Everything else, it was a job that it was very, like, I was very junior, and the job required more senior expertise. So the job was too big for me, and I was not able to pull up the job. So I was very sad because all my friends got promoted at the same time, and I was like just there, you know, in the same position. Everybody else was already a manager, and I was very sad. My friends all got fired. My friends all got promotions, and I got fired. So I got fired in September. The hackathon was in March. Like, then this season was awful. It was like 6 months, but it was like doing nothing. My manager got fired. Like, it was just surviving on the company.
Yeah, when you lose your M+, then things go easily down quite quickly. And when you begin to lose the support, it's like a matter of time. It's not if, only when. So there's no blame on that. Actually, you learn from those experiences. And talking about experiences, people may ask, how is the experience in Mexico? I believe you have that kind of a word of advice, because when they see Latin America, they believe that everything is the same, but Mexico is singular, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, I read an article that says that Mexicans by itself do not, when you say you are Latino, Mexicans say, no, I'm Mexican, which is a totally different thing. And it's very curious that now I'm here. I might consider myself Latina, but if I'm in Mexico, I'm like, no, I'm Mexican. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know which type of experience you would like to hear.
Right now, I guess anything.
Well, the experience of working in Mexico is really nice. Like, I totally think it depends on you. I definitely don't see Mexico especially as competitive as, for example, Malaysia, now that I live here. And Mexico is way chiller than Malaysia. It's also chiller, I think, that the United States. The competitive levels are not that high, and people actually enjoy their time, like going out and doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. That's number one. Then number two, the food.
Oh, don't let me start with the food. The food,
Because here I hear that people are very proud about their traditional plates and their local plates. And when they hear, look at that, Taco Bell is open, it's like, wait, that's a product, but it's not Mexican itself.
No, actually, a fun fact is that Taco Bell is one Taco Bell opened in Mexico, and it went out of business because nobody liked it.
Mm-hmm.
So in Mexico, I think what happens, and I think it happens everywhere, like you get used to your local cuisine. Like, you know, Indian people bring food from India, Chinese people bring food. So I think when you grow up, you get very attached to the food you grow up with, which is not bad. But also, like, biologically, your body also gets used to it. For example, the rice. I don't know about you, but I get really bad. I get really sick after 3 days eating rice. I felt really, really bad. I felt full, I felt bloated, and I can see people, Asian people, eat rice like 7 times per day, and nothing happened to them. Because its body, it's a sign. It's like survival of the fittest. I think that's the same with the food.
Totally agree. In fact, I remember in Latin America, my plate was usually like half 2 hours, 3/4 only rice, and then it was mostly protein, let's say fish, or let's say meat, or let's say chicken. But then when I was in other places, I began to actually switch to 60%, 75% only protein, like meat, or chicken, or fish, or lamb, and then on the side will be the veggies. Like, I actually put the rice away. In Malaysia, I realized that there is a lot of components, but there is more fish than meat. I realized that it's easier to find fish than meat. And I began to join that a little more. I have a friend, she calls herself a pescatarian, which is people that only eat fish. It's okay. And sometimes I send pictures like, look at that. You can easily be eating fish alone here, because, oh, look at that. They actually grill them, and you get nice lunches for 6 ringgit, which is around $1.50. So it's really impressive to see how you can vary your choices. And also realize that you see more people eating vegetables. Not talking about the vegetarians alone, but in general, you see more vegetables. I've seen places in Colombia or Brazil that the vegetables are very reduced. You cannot find them very easy. Here you can find a lot of those, and that's something really remarkable. Like, the balance of the diet is good, and yes, a lot of people eat a lot of rice. And also number 3, I realized that for some reason they love to eat out. I don't know what is going on. It's like they love to eat out, and it's like
everybody loves to eat out. Do you love to eat out?
Yes, I do.
I love to eat out. The only thing I don't love is paying, because in other countries it's very expensive. I think that's the difference.
I agree. It's very expensive, because you can have a good meal and barely have no problems on paying 6, 7 ringgits, 8 ringgits. 8 ringgits is around $2. But if you're about to pay in other places, you have to do even $10, $12, $20, just one plate. That's the issue, and that's something that people want to always keep that in mind, because you don't want to spend all your paycheck in just one go out. You really want to make the money work.
Definitely, but I think that is the difference here. Like, you can actually go out. Like, I discovered that for me, it's cheaper to order every day, like food delivery, than actually cooking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, what is your strategy for, but that for me works very fine.
Yeah, at least my strategy in the mornings is when I wake up, I have my mixture for pancakes. I usually cook, and I get around 3-4 pancakes. I have a banana that I slice it, and I also put, instead of a maple syrup that I still have problem to find, I put the honey, which is a good replacement with no sugar, because guess what, when you eat the honey, the teeth have no problem, because it has no sugar. I mean the actual original honey. That's why you see the bears eating honey and nothing happened with their teeth, because
I didn't know that.
Now there is another kind of honey, the blue honey that you can find in Nepal, but that blue honey is blue based on the bees, and the bees, what kind of flower they get from. So these bees in Nepal actually go to a certain kind of flower that has this hallucinogen effect. And because they carry that pollen and they do that honey, all of a sudden this honey is a little different. I guess I'm not sure how pricey it is in Nepal, but you can double check me. That kind of honey, the blue honey, is kind of it can make you fly.
Wow, where did you hear from that?
A podcast. You hear that in a lot of other podcasts, and then you say, okay, let's double check and see what is going on. Okay, that's right, or that person is lying. As long as you have the receipts, you're good on that.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's new for me.
Yeah.
You know what comes to my mind when you say Nepal?
What?
Have you seen Monster Inc?
Yeah.
When they say like there is a monster like has trauma because they have sent to very crazy children, and say like, okay, this door is for Nepal, the calm Nepal. So every time in Spanish is Nepal, el tranquilo Nepal. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
And then, like every time, like it's positioned here that Nepal is a very quiet place, like a very full of peace.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's very close from here.
Yeah, and they also do good leather, like a lot of leather products. If I have the chance to visit there, I will get maybe a wallet, because I still have my old wallet. I got that one back in 2005 when I visited Bucaramanga, Colombia, and there was one person selling wallets on the street, and okay, it's time to get a new wallet, and I saw that crocodile leather. Okay, how much for that one? And they say 3,000 Colombian pesos, right? Yeah. Okay, get it. That was around $1.
Can we see it?
It's
Please,
already
show
old
it
by
to the
now.
group.
It's already old because that was in 2005, and look at that. It's just a little old right now. Like,
But what do you think? Like, because if they sell it so cheap, maybe the killing of the animal was not so ethical.
it was, or maybe because they got so much leather that they were trying to get rid of the wallets as soon as possible, because they wanted to get money from it. Imagine that somebody makes wallets and they have to pay for the leather.
Yeah, but like, why did they kill so many animals? Like, is that legal?
Absolutely, it should be stopped. And also you will say, okay, if you're killing this, there must be a purpose, because if you're hunting for food, okay, but if you're hunting for a certain kind of profit, then you should regulate. Regulation always helps a lot. So I remember that day, well, the person actually got like 2 or 3 in a black bag, like he just wanted to sell them because I don't know what happened, if he was good on his business or not. I saw the opportunity. Okay, that would be nice, because I didn't have a good wallet back then. And I also saw other people that they actually are guides for hunting animals, because that's the only business they have. Okay, it's a way to help them, because you can go hunt and gain your own food, or gain your own leather, and also gain your own products for your own. But if you want to take advantage of local people just to profit, then there should be some regulation.
I agree. Actually, now that you heard it, there is a documentary in Discovery Channel that talks about the. I don't know if you remember. In Spanish, it's los cazacocodrilos, and the crocodile hunters. And I remember my neighbor. He used to work in a zoo, in the biggest zoo in Latin America for like 30 years. And I told him like, hey, don't you think this is like not nice, you know, because it's murder and everything? And he told me that crocodiles reproduce really fast. So what happens is that if the crocodile population is not controlled, they will end up with a lot of fauna in the region. So actually, I think this was in United States, but I think there is highly regulated, and it's kind of ethical, because the people are trained to kill them in the best way, and also because if they don't kill them and if they don't control it, they will affect other species.
I'm glad you bring that out, because in certain places you need a license to hunt. One thing is the license to buy and carry a gun for self-defense. Another thing is to hunt, because it has to validate the purpose that you are hunting, because it gets your own needs, like you get your own food. Back in the day, you know, when people used to hunt. The exponential growth of certain animals and species is true, because otherwise they began to endanger human species. And there is no way a police cop is gonna, okay, let's control this alligator that all of a sudden enter in a mall.
I agree.
There is another one that is a little more controversial, python. The actual python. In Florida, the python is so dangerous because they eat whatever is in front of them. They don't discriminate. And you will see people in California that, hey, you should not hunt the python, let them live. The problem is, python is a predatory species that if you don't control or hunt for them, they're going to eat you, regardless which are your positions or not. So those are the blurred lines of hunting an animal that can be or cannot be under the scrutiny of the moral opinion. Another different thing that has to be banned is banning endangered species. Like, come on, let them live. I totally agree.
Of course, but I think endangered species is a topic for another day.
I agree.
For another day.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Talking about food, because we were talking about hunting, getting items, and also tasting different places. Which has been the favorite place that you tasted so far?
My favorite one, I'm very basic. I would go with fried tacos. I love them.
Wow.
That's or tostadas, which is a fried tortilla with beans and some chicken, lettuce, sauce, green sauce, and cheese, and it's the best. In my birthday, every time it's my birthday, I tell my mom to prepare this dish for me.
Wow.
And it's funny because it's a very cheap dish. You can find it anywhere, but it's my favorite.
That's really nice. That's really nice. How long it takes to make one of those?
The fried tacos, we call it the flute. Like 1 hour, because you have to prepare it and then put the stick, you know, to when you fry it doesn't open, and then it's good. Or you can do it in the air fryer, very good.
Oh yeah, about air fryers. I remember last year, people were fascinated about getting an air fryer because they can fry anything on that place, and it's like, yeah, maybe that's a good thing to shorten the time of your cooking. Will that also put away certain skill for cooking?
Certain skill?
Like, you know that in order to make a good plate, you need a good skill. And the air fryer will not be diminishing that skill?
I don't think so. I think it's a tool, and as tools we should use as many as we can. I actually have a fun fact about it. I work in a consultancy group of sales. So I was a consultant for Tefal, Group CEF, which is actually the holding company. I work for Tefal. And did you know that before the pandemic, in January 2020, they sold only 300 air fryers in Mexico? 300, and then the growth was exponential, and they grew like 100,000 like in August. And it's crazy how the trend changed from one day to another.
Wow, that's impressive. That's how you pivot during the interesting times, and that's an example of how a business can actually prevail instead of being a victim, being a survivor.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the air fryers. I think it was. We all need to cope with something at that point, and well, the air fryer was in the good moment, in the exact moment, in the great exact time.
Mm-hmm. Talking about timing, and talking about things that are moving. Right now, the current experience that you have, which would be the best example to say it was the right timing?
Oh, that's a hard one, but I will think, yeah, my job. I was really happy at my previous job. I worked at Didi, and actually, when I got the offer from SB, I got the scholarship. I think as the same like you, and the same day I was told I got a promotion in my company, and like at that point, my company was having amazing growth. Like in Latin America, there was like a lot of growth coming. So after that, like in February, they told me like, yeah, you should be promoted, but actually we cannot promote you because your manager, who was your manager for 2 weeks, says you are an underperformer. And I was like, okay, but why? And he quit, so he never told me. So after that, I learned that actually it was a budget thing, that they didn't want to promote me because it's a budget thing. Like in Didi, what happens is that you cannot evaluate a person on its first year as a good person because it's a budget. They don't want to increase the salaries. So after that, before the promotion, I already had chosen to come to Malaysia, and then it was like perfect timing because I want to leave this company. But now, why would I leave? I will stay until I leave to Malaysia, and I don't have to worry about it. For me, that was the validation that this was my time to come.
Excellent example, because people will be like, I don't know, maybe here, maybe next time, I don't know. It's like sometimes the uncertainty is so big you don't see it. Now that you have the certainty based on what happened in that example, like, we would like to promote you. What do you mean you would like to promote me? But we can't because of budget issues.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen, bro. Like, no. And also something very important. Like, I think we really have to listen when we have like hard time in going through our lives, because it can be really hard, but it's still a message. Like, after I got fired from my job, I learned rejection is redirection. It's just when sometimes it's a way to, it's a favor from life because you're not brave enough to let things go. So they reject you. So it's like it's meant to be. I remember before applying to ESB, the last week of application, it was the 29th at 3 p.m. Malaysia time, I remember. And 3 days before, I was like, no, I'm not going to apply. I'm happy at my company. And I changed to this manager that I told you that we really didn't match. And I was like, oh my god, like you could be happy at a company and then in a week everything can change because you have a bad leader. And then I was like, okay, you know what, I'm not going to quit right now, but I have to explore new options. As Dr. Ali said yesterday, you always have to have plan A, plan B, plan C. So that was also a good timing because the same week this guy was my new manager. It was the same week, the last week of application to ASB.
Timing. If you have ever a time to ask yourself, remember the timing. Remember the timing. And you mentioned also another line that people reject you because you're not brave enough
to let them go.
Yes.
Definitely. Like when you have when you have had, I don't know if you have had, I hope not, a toxic relationship or an unhealthy relationship, and you're like, I should let go, but you don't, and then that person lets you go. They're actually doing you a favor. They are setting you free.
Mm-hmm. That's true. A lot of people prefer to be safe instead of being brave. And I totally agree on that. Such a brave new world, isn't it?
Such a what?
Such a brave new world.
New world?
Yeah. Why I'm saying this because right now things are getting more relaxed. Like people are actually starting to move on other places, and it's gonna be a different world than what we saw almost 2 years ago.
Definitely. Like right now, I was telling FVR that FVR or Fabian. What do you
Fabian.
rather? Fabian. We're getting used to that. But I was telling him that I just got a job offer to work at Johnson and Johnson. Not the official one, but they told me I got the job. They're crafting the offer. So and I'm working in Brazil, and then it's also a bit on Colombia, but they are paying me in Mexico. So it's like mixing everything, and I can work from Malaysia if I want, but I can go to, like, do you think that would have been possible 2 years ago?
Absolutely not.
Of course not. And then now you can like study, be present, work part-time, like you can do a lot of things, and like the limits are somehow the limits change. There are still limits, but they are different.
Mm-hmm. That's the flexibility that we have now with the power of the internet, and also the comprehension of what are the current leaders nowadays, because now it's like we can access talent, and talent can become more fluid.
Yes, but they don't sponsor the working visas.
Yeah.
I also have seen a lot of companies and a lot of countries get more strict with the working visa.
It's such a fascinating issue that you are bringing, because on one part you have, oh look at that, you can work, you can have more responsibility, even the time zone issue. And on the other side, it's like the contrarians of globalization. Like they don't want people to come in, or they make it harder, and it's like only you have this particular certificate, say the work permit, then you can come here, stay, and even to apply for it. And both happening at the same time, it's like,
yeah, I think you have still your constraints about where you're born. Like for example, a friend of mine wanted to participate in the job, like apply, but he couldn't because he was not Mexican. And actually, like from my understanding, they rather a Mexican working from anywhere in the world with any time zone, that a person that is not Mexican being present there. So it's kind of curious because I mean, I don't think the constraints for me is good if I'm Mexican, and the same for the Americans, and the same from each country and its opportunities. But it also changed for people with less benefited countries.
yes, and that will be something to discuss, like why, if we are human beings and we're supposed to be equal, why some people are more equal than others? Right? Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you mean by that.
Like, if you happen to be in a certain region that has certain work benefits, let's say Europe, if you are in the European Union, all of a sudden your work permits allow you to be and travel, or even work in other places, or even work in other companies that are based in other time zones, as long as you can show that you have this particular permit. And on the same time zone you have, let's say, even in the same Europe area, somebody from Cyprus, or somebody who is from Greece, or somebody who is from other place, like all of a sudden they want to participate and they cannot. They cannot because, oh, you don't belong to this agreement. But you have the skills, so we wish you the best. Like, the best was for that person to get a job at their organization, and now all of a sudden you are saying that they cannot, but they would, and that you wish them the best. Like, what is going on?
Well, as the economists say, it depends.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not for you, it's just not for you. Like, even if you don't see it in the short term, what I've learned with all the in my short life, it will say that you don't. If it's not there, just don't force it. When things are meant to be, they come really smooth.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. Nature always follow the path of less resistance. That's absolutely right. Talking about nature, a lot of nature and a lot of green you can find. Is this place greener than other places you've been before?
Green, yeah, of course. I mean, well, I have only lived in Mexico. Like, I have been vacation somewhere else, but only live in Mexico. Mexico is a very green place, especially in the south where I am from. But I will say Malaysia is very tropical, which is, I love tropical weather. Right now we are sweating, you can see. But I still like it. I'd rather being like this than being in the cold with a lot of things, you know? Because I don't like that weather. So I'm perfectly fine with it, with this greenery. For me, this green means abundance.
Explain a little bit.
I'm sure. When the pandemic started, it's actually something really fun. So when the pandemic started, I'm going to tell you the love story. The pandemic started and there was a Twitter about a lady that shared, offers and sales. That was. And then she told us, like, let's share some UFO stories. We had nothing to do. It was a pandemic. So she was like, okay. And a lady responded like, hey, I'm going to do a WhatsApp group because my dad has seen witches. We're like, oh my God. And we click and we join a WhatsApp group. Then she told the story, and this group actually turned out to be a ladies-only group. And we kept talking, and talking, and talking, and talking. This group was like 300, 400 women. Then this group shortened, and we're now, I think, 18.
Wow.
18 women, but this group was formed 2 years ago. And we are now very close friends. Like, I talk to them every day. And actually we do some meditation together. We started to do meditation challenges and everything, and one of the challenges was about abundance. It's a challenge, I don't know if you have done it, but it's about 20 days of listening. I don't know if you have done it. 20 days of abundance. And they teach you that abundance is everywhere. And if you have like miseria, which doesn't translate to misery. Doesn't translate to misery because for me misery in English is like sad. And miseria is like being cheap, being from a lack, talks from the lack. And when I listen to this, it resonates with Malaysia because Malaysia has green, has the fruits, has the water, has the grass, like it's full of natural resources.
That's such an enlightenment. People can Google like, look at that, the 20 days challenge of abundance. That's impressive. How from almost 400 people to only 18?
Well, a lot of people joined the group and they were just watching the story, and then a lot of us started to share about ourselves. But then we got scared because everybody could join. So one girl told us like, we started to know which person in the group we were familiar with, and we text like in private, and we started to do our own group. And we started adding our friends, like the people we like, and the good vibe people only. And that's how we become like a really close group. Actually, for example, like one of the group, one lady of the group, she's getting married next month, and we are going to be maids of honor. Like, we got really close.
That's amazing. Such an amazing story. That's something that you really want to replicate wherever you go and wherever you want. But also on the other side will be very not good stories that happen on that group, right?
What do you mean?
Like certain kind of issues, certain kind of comments.
No, I mean, we are actually like a support group. So, whenever someone feels sad or happy, or we want to share something, or we want to hang out, some people live together. Some of them live in Mexico City, so they hang out together. And some of them are like, hey, today I had a bad day, and we just share each other. It's a very support group. We have had our differences, but I don't know. We have cleared that our friendship remains, so it's quite easy.
That's the litmus test that you want to do. Like, if you face certain things, all of a sudden, it only gets better.
Yeah. Actually, for example, in Mexico, there is like a lot of division between the parties and political parties, and we have a lot of differences, but one day we was like, you know what, I don't care, like, you think that, and I respect, and I know you and I, we want the best. We just don't think different, we can reach it the same way. So we talk about it and we debate respectfully, we do, but you know, we also gossip about a lot of things, so it's not important.
Such a serendipity, a succession of very happy events, one after another after another. So I believe the logistics for that marriage event is going to be very big, and how to be the maid of honor, and it's like,
well, I won't be able to attend because I'm in Malaysia. Actually, this is, I think, the third wedding I'm missing since I've been here. So I'm not going to be there, and a lot of friends, but a lot of friends are going to be there.
Okay. Yeah, those are, like it or not, the price to be on the hill, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be on the hill, to be honest, but I think it's a price to make you. I mean, this is the risk, you know. This is what we learn in competitive strategy, the trade-off. Mm-hmm. Like every decision you make, you're rejecting everything else. Like when you're dating someone, you're not only dating that person. You're choosing to not date everyone else in the world.
Mm-hmm. On that particular time and on that particular place. It's important because the expectations that you have for that person versus the reality of the person that you met after, and that negotiation that happens during that particular time frame is a commitment.
Ugh.
Because all of a sudden, it's like the universe conspired, and it's like during that time, everybody wants to put their own offer, and it's like, no, I'm already sticking with this offer. Okay? Let them respect the freedom you have to choose the offer.
Well, I to be honest, I don't have my fan base yet, so I'm in a relationship and nobody has hit on me since then. So I don't know, like that God doesn't laugh at me. He was like, finally, you find someone who cares.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I'm not that. I'm lucky, but nobody. I didn't have any external measures like I wish you were single. Not yet, at least.
Just be prepared because that thing can happen. You should be like
strong.
Yes, because the loyalty can be often tested. You should be always undefeated.
Yes, I agree.
That's true. That's true. And talking about that, what a particular time to do this talk because it's February 12th, Valentine's weekend. And a lot of people will love to get chocolates, you will go to get flowers, you will go to get the reservations. Hey, if you couldn't get a reservation now, sorry, you should have done way before.
Definitely. I mean, I think you can dinner here because I don't think you will find any more availability.
Yeah, it's like, look at that. All of those, it's like we rented the place only for this and the fantastic landscape we have courtesy of the city, isn't it? Because there will be some haters that will tell you privately, like, I don't believe you are there. You're a liar.
No, we are here. Yeah, we are here.
Yeah, we can see the Twin Towers from here. Yeah, which is kind of nice. It's a landscape. You learn to live with that, which is cool. Especially at night when the lights are so bright. But also, it can be like a little bubble because not the whole country is like that. There will be other places that are totally different.
Yeah, I think always, right? We have to learn how privileged we are because, like, it's nice from us, but like the weather is the same. It's nice for us because we are right now here and we have our water, we have this. But as to the people who work in the sun and work like the labor workers, they're going to be like, why do you like this weather? You know, I think it always depends on the perspective of the person.
I'm talking about places. Like 2 weeks ago, it was like the Chinese New Year. And you were in other cities, in other places as well?
Yes, I went to Penang.
How is Penang?
To be honest, I was expecting more.
Okay.
Like I like Penang, but I personally come from Mexico, which Mexico I think is the third or the second country with most heritage cities in the world after China.
Mm-hmm.
So like an heritage city is not new for me. I was born in a heritage city.
Which is
Puebla.
okay.
Puebla is a very historic city, very beautiful. So when I went there, I was like, okay, being heritage doesn't mean you cannot have like. I to be honest, I was expecting more. Like I think it was me because I didn't manage my expectations. Like it was nice and it was a nice trip, but I would say it was nice because of the company and not because of the place.
You are getting into a realm that people barely understand, which is it's not about the city, it's about the people that are with you. It's not about the place, but it's about the people that are with you.
Definitely, I had a nice time because I had nice people came with me. The Airbnb we rented was really nice. Yeah, but yeah, and I know Penang. Like I have to take the trip, you know, because you have to go. But yeah, I was definitely didn't manage my expectations. Like everybody told me the food was going to be amazing and it was good, but I was expecting way more.
Yeah. That's something very human, the management of expectations. Can we talk a lot about Puebla? Because very few people will say, oh, Mexico City, Mexico, and that's it. No, you have more places to go.
32 states.
So, first, you mentioned that Puebla is at the south of the country, and also number two, that has like a heritage.
Yeah, it's a heritage city. Well, it's not in the south. It's on the center, like it's 2 hours away from Mexico City. Puebla is the city where the Spanish people established it when they arrived, like not the murderers or like the colonizers, like the Spanish that came here, they established in Puebla. So Puebla is very similar to Spain. I think it's the closest city to Spain in all Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Very beautiful. We have a volcano. We also have the pyramids. And it's not as big as Mexico City. It's like still small. So Puebla is a really nice city to live in.
Mm-hmm. With that Spanish architecture and that Spanish design, you always identify yourself as Mexican, right?
Of course. 100% Mexican. No other heritage.
Because it's very common in South America to see some people that are in Spain for like 1 week,
And
2 weeks, and all of a sudden they're different.
They speak with the S.
Uh-huh.
They speak with the S and they put the Spain map on their Instagram. Like, oh my god, you went for a week, bro. And then a lot of Mexicans, you know what they do? They look for the Spanish birth certificate only because their great grandmother was Spanish. They don't plan to go to Spain, but they like to pretend they are Spanish.
Yes, even there are some people talking about the football that they prefer to be fans of Betis or Oviedo, those teams that nobody heard of, but they say, oh yeah, because my grandparent was from that city, I'm also a fan of that team, but they never saw the team play to begin with. They prefer to be fans of Betis, the white and green jersey, but they are living right there in Guadalajara. They prefer to be fans of Betis instead of Chivas.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing, and it's actually a cultural shocker for me because for us as Mexicans, and I think Latin Americans, we laugh about the people when you say like, "Come on, bro, you are Mexican. Don't say you're Spanish. You're not." And then when I come here to Malaysia, like that's their pride. Like here in Malaysia, like the heritage is quite important. For example, I have a friend that he said like, "I'm Chinese," and I was like, "Okay, you were born in China? No. Do you speak Chinese? No. Okay, your parents are Chinese." Born in China? No. My great grandmother was Chinese. And I was like, why do you identify, you know? And that's the same with the Indian people. Like, they don't have friends in India, they don't speak Hindi, but they still identify itself as Indian. And the pride and heritage, it's enormous here in Asia. Compared to Latin America, where you let that go and you just adapt to the country you're in.
That's absolutely right. It's like, when I also heard that situation, and I'm familiar to what happens in Latin America with the people that go to Europe, it's like, it's happening again. It's happening again. And it's like, Come on. It's more than that. It's totally more than that. It's like now all of a sudden I wear the French soccer jersey and I believe I'm French already. With work rights and passport. No, it's not like that. It doesn't happen like that. But such an interesting fact. Maybe it's because they have more about the human experience or the human tradition. But who knows? Who are we to judge?
Nobody.
Yeah, that's true. Talking about things that usually are a little judgmental, especially nowadays. And I can bring this because we certainly has been in a parallel talking about this in one way to another. But recently there has been a lot of controversy about crypto tokens. They are not called them cryptocurrency anymore because they don't perform as currencies, but crypto tokens. What do you think about those?
Well, I think I'm not that familiarized. I actually, when crypto started, when I heard first about crypto, I heard about crypto in 2017. And before everything else, I actually heard first about blockchain. And I read the white paper about blockchain, because there's I had a course that they told us like the communication issues happens because you don't read from the primary source. You have a friend who read it, and then this friend told about another people, and these people made a video, and that's what you learn. So the communication is like a broken phone, and you don't get what you really should get. So I read the white paper that explains, because cryptocurrencies and the base of cryptocurrencies are based on blockchain. It's paper, it's like the simile, like you print the money in paper, and the cryptocurrencies are printed in blockchain. So first of all, I want to understand the ground basis and why we needed to have this. I read about this. It was quite complex. It's not an easy white paper, but it's still very readable, and I didn't understand the hype at the moment. Because it's one more currency. Basically, that's what happened. The currencies rely on trust, and that's why when you have a currency like one ringgit or $1, it always says the backup of the bank of the country. Like if you say a ringgit, it says Bank Negara. If you say like Bank of Mexico or whatever the country is, because when you give the money, if I give you 100 ringgit, I'm actually you don't have to rely on me. Because if I can give you Carolina ringgit, you're relying on the bank. That's the trust system, and that's how it works. And with the cryptocurrencies, you're relying on you're relying on the system, like on the chain that generated them. So you actually don't have to rely on anybody. My personal opinion is that cryptocurrencies is not an investment, but it's not a speculation, because there is nothing that backs that up. You don't say it's the blockchain building on the blockchain company, or if you invest in a company, you see they're selling or they're not selling. With the cryptocurrencies, you don't see that. So it's a speculation. You think it's going to raise, or you think it's going to decrease. You cannot think more than that, because you don't see anything, because they don't have employees. So I think it's new. I think you can make a lot of money, or you can lose a lot of money. Personally, I don't think it's for me.
Fascinating. And number 2, we discover right now, Carolina is a self-aware user. Yeah, she's dangerous. It's like, no, she's not gonna buy what you're selling. She's gonna go to the core, and she's gonna read the core and say, I can do a decision, an informed decision. That's something that is very inspiring, especially in this day and age.
Thank you very much. I still right now, like 2 weeks ago, the stock market crashed, and I lost a lot of money. So I'm not that reliable anymore.
Hey, but guess what? Every time it crashes, it goes up.
Yeah. I had a professor that says that every time a lot of people loses money, every time a lot of people gains money, and you're not losing until you take your money out. So, and I'm investing in the long term, but still, I think if you want to invest, you have to be aware that there's going always to be a risk. And that's actually something that happened with the COVID. A lot of people have a lot of free time, and they decided like, oh my god, a lot of people is making a lot of money in stock market, so let me invest my money. Then what happened? 2020, 2021, they might have earned like 18%, an estimate, and then the market crashed, and then they're minus 30%. So a lot of people, because they're newbies, they got scared and they took their money back, and they took their loss, and that's actually when they recovered a bit, only like 5%. So I think especially in every decision you make, especially on the financial ones, you have to be quite well informed and don't follow the hype, because you're going to find on YouTube a lot of people telling you about investment, crypto, and they're going to tell you that they know the exact rule. Nobody knows it. Like, nobody knows the rule, and if you go with the mindset that you're always going to win on the investment market or on the crypto market, you're going to lose. I have a professor that says that if you think you're a bad investor, remember that Warren Buffett in 1 year lost 11%. So it happens to everybody.
Talking about Warren Buffett, people have been glorifying the Oracle of Omaha for the last 5 years or something. The issue is that he actually lost a lot of money at the beginning, but he was wise enough to persevere. He was investing when he was in his early 20s, and he compounded that through the time. So he made friends with time, so that his wealth actually got larger in the last 10 to 15 years. And that's why people have been saying, oh, look at that, he has been doing well. He has been doing good and bad.
He has been playing the long run, and I think I don't know exactly his story, but I have seen, to be honest, I have seen some TikToks. So, and they always say like Warren Buffett always thinks in the long term. And if you think, for example, the retirement funds, like the retirement funds in my country, at least they segment depending on the year you're going to retire. And for example, the people from 20 to 30 years old, it's very risky, because they still have a lot of time to recover, and if they win in the early years, it's a win, you know. So actually, the investment fund for retirement for young people is really almost at like the 90% is negative.
I agree. Genevieve Rocher, that you can find her on TikTok and also on LinkedIn, also proclaimed the same theory. Like, this is for the long run. If you want to invest, it's on the long run, and if the market always dips, always recovers. And number 3, if you are about to invest, put like a disposable income. This is not a betting, it's an investment. They are two different things, totally uncorrelated.
And you have to know yourself. Like, a lot of people want to be a millionaire investing, and they have a minus 1% loss and they're freaking out. So I think it's also, I mean, the formula that works for other people might not work for you, because we're not different. We're all different. Mm-hmm. So you have to find how you feel comfortable. For example, I invested in government funds for like 5 years because I was not comfortable investing in funds, and that's perfectly fine. Like, not, it sounds very sexy, you know, say I invest in the market, but you have to be like very self-aware, very cautious, and accept when you lost, and patient. So it's not as easy as you see on TV.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And still, it's a better option to invest instead of only relying on your retirement or on your savings, because they barely make a good percentage.
And you still have to work, like, still.
Mm-hmm. Talking about something that you are very passionate, and we can see that even on the background. Doge.
Yes, I love Doge.
Tell us about your relationship with Doge.
Is Doge or Doge?
Depends how you want to say it. I hear mostly Dogecoin, Doge, but if you, in Spanish you can hear Dogi or Doge or Doge. So.
I don't know. I just love the dog. Like, it's so cute. Like, it's so squishy. Like, I don't have anything else to say. I love dogs. I wouldn't have a dog, but I love them. That's everything I have to say. I love the stickers, and I love Doge.
Yeah, there is a lot of lore in the meme world, in the meme universe about Doge. Like, there is a Doge, chimps, and there are like whole different characters that you can find back in 2013 or 2014 where the whole history started. So yes, it's really, really wonderful to see how you can actually make fun and also get a little more into the unknown. Talking about things on the unknown, what would be the advice that you will give to the younger Carolina?
Oh, that's very hard, but I think it will be patient. Be patient. Like some things you don't have to force them; you just have to wait. And I think the wait is the hardest part sometimes.
Yeah, waiting usually is hard because uncertainty. You don't know about the uncertainty, or you don't know about the volatility of your stability. Reflecting on your case, like in 1 week, in 7 days, everything changes.
Everything, and actually there is a prayer. I'm Catholic, so there is a prayer that says something like, "Give me faith to keep going and to accept what I cannot control. Embrace what I cannot control."
You can say it in Spanish.
Dame la fuerza para aceptar lo que no puedo controlar o algo así. But it was like, just give me patience and give me the strength because I cannot do it all.
Mm-hmm. That's absolute.
And it's a really nice prayer. I like to pray a lot, so like that also gives me a lot of push.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's about right. How people can find you?
Well,
you have Instagram, you have Twitter,
yes,
you have TikTok.
Of course, I should upload. I should make some TikToks. Yeah, sure. I will send you the link and you can put it down on the video because like if I spell my name like not even on the CDO office, not even on the CDO, they put my name correct. They put Trujillo, and it's Trujillo. So I can give you my social media and yeah, of course, I can send the meditation anytime or you can text me on WhatsApp.
Yes, because even the spelling, the same that they do to me with Fabian or Fabian or Fabian, the same with you because it's Carolina and some people say Caroline.
You know what? I just gave up.
There is a song. I bet you already heard it.
Yeah, the Sweet Caroline.
Oh.
Yeah. I have heard it. Yeah, it's a classic. And now I know.
Oh yeah, especially when somebody called Carolina in the stadium scores a goal, they put that song.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know, but yeah, it's my name, so yeah.
Yeah, those are good experiences as well. So, what a way to close this episode. So thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you, Fabian. Thank you very much, and thank you for staying to the whole chapter.
So, take care out there and see you when I see you. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Oye, fue muy divertido.
Alrededor de 1 hora hicimos.
Ya entiendo por qué te gusta hacer podcast.